already know, Easy A in the house. Easy. I want to thank my Heavenly Father, all my archangels, my ancestors, my extended ancestors, all light beings of all types, all divine beings. All high vibrational beings. My challenge is still up. I want the biggest, the baddest, the most, treacherous, dark worker to get it in with me. The title is up, like I'm getting bored over here. I haven't eaten in a couple of days. For real. Kind of aggy about that. That I haven't been feeling nothing, that I'm still walking around unfazed. I should be coming out with a rash or something. I should be, coughing up a lung. I should be whatever the fuck y'all decided to try to do. But as you can see, it's not happening. It haven't happened. I don't think it will ever happen. So, I think you need to reach higher. You need to, get higher ups. But it's crazy because I'm already defeated higher ups. I already defeated like hundreds of thousands to millions of y'all niggas. And now I'm just running around slaughtering with just my words. Can't stop what's to come. It's all prophesied. I'm part of the prophecy. That's all y'all need to know. And I'm not here to play. I'm actually here to do his work. And I'm excited. I'm still excited. Like I said, I was in awe, flabbergasted. I believed it was like kind of in disbelief, and but there is no question. There is no questions anymore. All the questions that I have has been answered or will be answered. I have achieved monumental achievements. Not just how society wants one to acquire their knowledge. I acquire my knowledge from all. I acquire my knowledge in research, searching, asking questions, wanting understanding, willing to learn. Also willing to change what has already been learned. All tools supposed to be used, and all tools also get sat down when there's no use for them. All tools have upgrades to them over the years. Tools have been damn near revolutionized, where there's very little effort, that we have to use now to put together something that really definitely take a lot of effort. Now it just take, planning, preparation, and know-how. All right, the more you do it, the more skillful you be at it. All right, and hopefully you don't just stop there. After you got comfortable or, real acquainted to or whatever you decided to, to learn. Find something else to, that steps on top of that, complements that. And even if it don't complement it, you still got another piece of the puzzle of life. I know y'all want my downfall. The government want my downfall. All works of order wants my downfall. Reason why is because I'm showing that it's all an illusion, that it's all fake, it's all propaganda, it's all suppression. You are mental. They have a lot of us in mental slavery, and a lot of it is willingly. We accept the mental slavery, knowing and unknowing. You know how we do a lot of protesting and marches and movements for certain events, because it's multiple. When they asking for donations, we giving donations. And it's been going on for eons, but yet we haven't made no real breakthroughs with what we've been donating to. And if it did, it was very slight, so they could say that it was progression. Yet again, illusion. Right? Yeah, I know. It might not even get aired. That's how red flag this, my conversations are. It don't be disrespectful. It just be mind shattering. It be matrix dissolving. In the video before this one, I was talking about world peace and about how we can't change other individuals. They have to be willingly changed. We could manipulate or try to manipulate. That's basically what it is. It's individuals trying to manipulate other individuals, and if the other individual is not aware and it's just that, not aware. Every situation has multiple tagged to it that's unseen. Like you have a person that comes give you a certain offer, It might elevate you as far as money. It might elevate you as far as name. If that's what you're looking for. And if that's what you're looking for, they looking for you. You the type of people that they look for. The people that, that have so much ambition that they'll do anything to acquire it. Ambition is a good thing, but greed, vanity, and shortcuts don't work. I know there's billions out there right now calling me a liar because they have proof that it does work. But it only lasts for a certain, it don't last forever, number one. Number two, all right. Number two, y'all gave something of yourselves that you really didn't want to give, that you shouldn't have given up because it holds more value. Your pride, your respect. And it's not even respect from other individuals, it's just self-respect. Right? Right now, a lot of my enemies that have casted and said and did all types of profane things and evil things towards an individual that in the past or in that realm that I escaped from would have helped everybody if I had the capability of doing so freely. Right? And wouldn't cry about it. I know y'all calling me a liar, but there's a lot of people that owe me money that I have not stressed or even bothered to even say, you owe me. What happened? You call, I gave you such and such, such and such. There's no reason to do that. The number one, they know in their heart. Number two, if I didn't want to give it to them, they would have never got it. Whenever you give something, you truly try to give it from your heart, because if you're not giving it from that place, you're going to hold resentment towards that person. And it's not even really towards that person. You resent yourself, and you project that on the other person and then act out on it. Right? So another lesson, don't do what you ain't willing to do. Because as a lot of, like I said, my enemies, and a lot of that ain't my enemies, that's just experiencing life, knows this to be true. You might hate me for saying it, you might hate me for, putting it straight out there like that, but it's for your good, it's for my good, it's for everything, it's for the good of everything, and that's basically my dream. My dream is really to not just experience heaven on earth, but to truly see heaven on earth. And the heaven that I know that I have already put out there is, we all have our personal heaven. But if all our personal heavens just designed by your highest self, the best of the best of the best that you can be, to whatever time you have, on this, little dot, little speck of sand in the infinite possibilities. It's serious how big-headed and big-minded we are, when in the all grand scheme of things, we are amoeba. and I know this is crazy. We actually, like I said, we are so in the body of Christ. If we want to get like exact, like real exact, we really the DNA. We like the part of the barcode type. We're not even, really forming anything, but we form everything at the same time. If you understand, or and I'm not trying to be funny. Sometimes I have a problem where I feel that I'm speaking plainly, but don't really be understood or heard, or took in the way that I delivered it. And I take pride on how I phrase things, how I word things. I don't just think and speak, even though it might look that way. But it's already been formed, truly formed, and read back to me, and read and you know, on a loop. So I know that I'm saying what I mean, you know, and I can recall it when it's time to recall it. That's why it's good to listen. Getting back to that, learn to listen, listen to learn. It'll get you far. Even if you know something or you think you know something, sometimes we need to shut the fuck up and hear what the next person has. We might hear something new. We might learn something new. Nobody have all the answers. Nobody is truly a master in any sense. You could practice discipline, you could practice diligence, but if you can live forever and everything is constantly renewing or constantly transforming, constantly evolving, how and I gotta leave it there because I actually lost it, but at the same time, how? Like, where everything has laws, how each tree grow, the time it grow, how it gets its nourishment, and what species or of plant it is, tree, bush, flower, grass. Same thing with us. Same thing with the concrete that we designed or made out of a mixture that turns into this. Everything is a process. Everything has steps, and if you don't do certain steps, your product is not what it's supposed to be, or at least what it originally supposed to be, or how originally it's supposed to intend to perform. Right? I know, like I said, the lessons and the information and the teachings are infinite, you know, and be like, wow, I can't fathom doing all that or trying to take all that in. I barely made it through whatever major that that I made. I got through. Or I barely, like it was hard enough to get my master's in this or my BA or whatever, and whatever. Not saying that those feats are, easy. That's why you should celebrate yourself. I understand you might not be at where you thought you would be at when you was, you know, gaining this knowledge, thinking that knowledge was going to propel you wherever you wanted to go. And we all learn lessons that that just don't go that way. How we have people that's gifted or skilled at multiple things. Like I know people that speak 7 different languages fluently, but yet they ain't making the money that they should be making from all that skill. Like that's crazy. And you want to know the reason that they be given? Overqualified. Do that make sense? How, even if they are overqualified, wouldn't you want that individual there? So that means you'll get a whole lot more out of that person without even asking, because that is their ability, their pure innate ability. And then if they all say they are working for you, you should have some type of, be grateful in some type of way, a bonus, a raise, or even pay them for whatever positions that they hold or perform, in your joint. And pay them well, not rob them, but pay them well. A lot of the jobs that we have or businesses that we have be robbing their employees. Stuff that, that costs 50 cents to make, and even lesser, because when you do something in bulk, you get a discount. And who does it in the most bulk? The super franchise corporations. But are the employees well paid? Are they happy? Or they scraping day to day like everybody else, and have to have another job and a hustle to just stay afloat. We're not even talking about being in a yacht or in a boat. We're talking about just able to keep yourself calm enough to just ride these waves. Ride, and then picture trying to do that shit in a storm. Mm-mm-mm. How, how, how great you gotta be to be able to do that in a storm. And very few people could do that. And that's not true either, because all of us go through storms, some more than others. And no matter what storm you go to, what might be severe to me might be light to you. What might be light to you might be severe to me. So have compassion for others when you see them in a storm, or they come and they speaking to you about the storm that they in. Don't feel better about yourself because you're not going through that. Don't how you say, numb. Be numb to their experience. Be cold-hearted to their experience. Because we all need compassion. When you at your worst and there's nobody's there giving you compassion, how would you feel? How would you handle that? A lot of us can't handle that. And to be honest, to really be honest, none of us can handle that. All of us crave some type of affection, some type of care, some type of love, some type of pure compassion. Not phony, but pure. Because if it's phony, it don't do no healing. Because it don't have the right energy behind it. Right? It does a lot more damage. That's why they say be careful of false compliments. It's because I'm whispering sweet nothings to you don't mean I truly feel that way about you. And there's ways to, see who's who. And that's by examining the energy. What you mean examine the energy? You all do it every day. Like, I'm gonna give you for instance, like with your friends. You're not around your friend, but your friend is upset. Somehow or another, you walking up and you see your friend, but you're at a distance. But yet you know when something wrong. How do you know that? Because you feel the energy from your peoples, for a person that you care about, or a person that that you allowed in your energy. You'll be alright. Now, all the individuals that you ever met, when they act funny, you know how that energy look, you know how that energy feel. When they in a good mood and they around you, you know how that feel. And if you're a true friend, you know a lot more than that. If you go by the tone of their voices, their mannerisms, and all that, because a true friend that actually generally spend time and cherish the time that they around each other, you see everything. Even when you're not paying attention, you still see everything. Your subconscious takes that and it rocks with it. So when you're feeling it's funny around certain individuals and you really don't understand it, it's because of that energy. And your subconscious, which is not your subconscious, is actually your higher self warning you, trying to get your attention, putting the body on alert, putting the mind on alert. You might not know what the alert is for, but you know you're supposed to be on alert. So, when y'all got time, examine the energies that you done shared with throughout your lives, childhood, adulthood, teenage years, even your senior years. It depends on, how old y'all, how many moons and suns you done went around the planet. And said it before in other videos, watch from a third person point of view. Don't get caught up in the emotions of whatever you remember, but just let it play and just watch and see what you didn't see. And it would start explaining a lot from the individuals that you've been getting, experiencing. It'll give you more clarity. And if you're still around these individuals, you're able to predict, have foreknowledge of what they're going to do before they really even thought of it. I know it sounds crazy, but the chosen one enemies, or the ones that they chose to be enemies of the chosen or the divine, and it's not even enemies of us, they enemies of our God, of the universe, of the solar system, of everything. A 100% negative is 100% destruction. 100% positivity or high vibrations is 100% life. I understand, even though I said that, there will always be a balance in between. There will be fluctuations, like how it was for the thousand years of the world, good being bad and bad being good, and yes being meaning no and no meaning yes. That's the timeline we just left. The crazy part is the the previous gatekeepers or the so-called gatekeepers, 'cause it was never really gatekeepers, it was never really a gate around. It's an illusion of a gate, and once you see the illusion, you're able to walk right through it. And they want to know, how did you get in? How did I get in? I walked in. You didn't walk past me, or you didn't walk past us. Because I didn't have to walk past y'all. Then they'll question you, what do you mean? You didn't have to walk past us. We the gatekeepers. Alright, so if y'all the gatekeepers, how did I get in here? It's sarcastic, but you gotta laugh at it because it's the truth. Like, right now you questioning me or questioning the individual of how he is or how he is or she is, get to the point where they got without getting there through them. And you gotta laugh, because who are they? Do you know them? I don't know them. So why do I have to go through them to get to where I want to be at? And wherever you want to be at, only thing you have to do is go to the destination. Who can stop you? And nobody can stop you. Oh, you need a passport, you need this, you need the shots, you need all that. Who says? Our governmental. All right.